All right, so what's today? It is October 12th, 2022. Welcome, everybody. It's Coach Vic, your certified land investor. Glad to be here with you. Today is a little bit different. We are going to be helping someone in their next step of their investment journey. Now, since this is live coaching, I don't know what we'll be talking about. I don't know where we'll need to go. I don't know the question. We're going to find out live together. So it's going to be a fun 30 minutes. So buckle up and let me start to get that going. But in the meantime, as I'm getting the links out to people, let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. Let me know if everything's good with you. But today is going to be nice because I think a lot of you guys are in the same position where you get what's happening, you understand, you're excited about it, you're ready to take that step forward, and maybe you research some areas, maybe you even put a list together, but something like that you're not totally clear on is kind of slowing you up a little bit. So that's where I'm here to kind of help you out. So if you have questions while I'm doing this live, feel free to ask. Like hopefully they're in the same, same vein, same topic that we're working on. But I will try to get to everybody's questions, whether you're doing this in a Facebook group or whatever. I would love to help everybody that I can. So just let me know when you have questions because, I'm here for you. All right. So let me introduce Carrie Ann. And she is coming on now. And she muted herself. Hey.
Hello. How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So before we begin, why don't you tell me, and I guess everybody else, the people who are watching this, a little bit about you, what kind of brought you into like the land investing thing, what are you hoping to get out of it, all that good stuff.
Okay. So I'm actually originally from Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica.
Nice.
Migrated to the US in 2002. I've lived in Boston since 2004. I studied business and accounting, and I've worked in accounting for most of my career. In the last 6 years, I work at venture capital companies as an accountant. My previous role was a finance manager. I've always been interested in real estate. I actually used to be a realtor. And although you make good money as a realtor, honestly, it was really stressful working with buyers mostly. Like the sellers weren't too tough, but the buyers were kind of tough sometimes. And I discovered that investing was another way to actually make money, whether doing flipping, but with flipping, you have to have so much money for a startup cost. But with land, you have more leverage as far as like, you can use your savings to buy land and start that way. So that's why I got interested in land investing. And, hopefully I can own a couple of acres and make some money.
That's awesome. That's awesome. First, a couple of interesting things. One, Boston area, boo. Like, all right, but I won't judge you too hard. One of my current students is from Boston. I give her a hard time every time we have a meeting. So, Sandra, if you're listening to this, boo to Boston for you as well. Second, so you were a real estate agent, and so basically you were an Uber driver with access to the MLS. Is that right. Accurate?
And I was doing it part-time. So honestly, I was just like 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. So it really wasn't working out for me.
Yeah, no, that sounds like trash. So good luck with that. It sounds like you're out of it. So yeah, good for you. Okay. And one last thing I'll mention, like, yes, you can use your savings to buy a plot, but you can also use the pocket lint in your chain or in your pockets to actually buy a lot. It just depends on where you are, what you're trying to do, all these things. Like I have a lot now that I'm selling for about only $3,000. I got it for $400 because I was like, well, if I could buy the other neighboring lots, it'll be a good buy. If I can't buy it, and it might not be so good for $400, I was like, what the hell? Why not?
Yeah.
So, that's the beauty of this. Now, I like small deals. I talked about that the other day, but anyways, let's jump into what you need help with. So far, first off, appreciate you joining the group. Hopefully you're finding the group useful.
Yep.
You've seen the training that I sent you, correct? Okay. Have you picked an area that you want to invest in? And if so, what is that area?
Honestly, I was looking at Arizona.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why I picked Arizona is because I read an article recently that Bill Gates bought a whole bunch of land in that area.
Interesting.
because he's trying to make a smart city. So
Huh.
I was just like looking in the surrounding areas in Arizona. It isn't the cheapest place, but it's also not like expensive like Boston. So that was one place I was looking at.
Okay. Where in Arizona in particular?
It was I can't even pronounce it. Belmont and Tonopah.
Tonopah. Okay.
Yeah.
Belmont. I'm gonna do that first. I'm gonna share my screen in a second, and I'm gonna see what you see. That is not right. Hold on.
I think Belmont is supposed to be the name of the city, the new city. Hold on.
All right, we'll do
Buckeye, not Belmont. Buckeye and Tonopah. So
Okay, let's do
Tonopah.
Buckeye. I've never heard of Buckeye.
Yeah.
Okay, Buckeye AZ. All right, let me share my screen real quick. Let me know if you can. All right, can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. Let me check Facebook real quick, make sure anybody have any questions or whatever. All right, but in general, why am I here at Zillow? I'm just going to see what you saw and kind of get a rundown to see why you are kind of interested in this area. Okay, I appreciate it, Scott. Everybody says when choosing markets go after hotspots, but then aren't we all just competing against each other for the same pieces of land? VJ, that's actually a good question. Now, I like to go where people are not. That's my personal thing. When there are a lot of people are competing on land, I'm like, y'all can have all that. I go where people are not competing, so I have a nice blue ocean personally. But with that said, you can still win when you're competing with others, depending on your offer prices and how easy it is to do business with you. Some people make the sellers jump through hoops to do business with them. And of course, they lose a lot of deals. But it's as simple, it's easy. You do a lot of the work and take on a little bit more of the risk, then you become a no-brainer. Hell, just following up and doing what you said you're going to do is further than most people do. They're like, oh, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to do this, and then they don't follow up. And then the deal falls apart before it actually gets made. So yeah, hopefully that answered that questions. Now, Carrie Ann, let's look at this Buckeye place. All right, so what I'm looking at right now is vacant land in Buckeye from low to high. I have it listed sort of from low to high. I'm just trying to get my own personal, just look at the market. Now, when you saw Buckeye, was there anything about the lots that you currently saw for sale or maybe stuff that sold in the past that kind of drew you to it? Or is it because Daddy Bill Gates said, I'm buying land here, therefore you're trying to snatch it up first?
The latter.
All right, fair enough. Now, question. I always like to start with my actual investment budget. I'll let that dictate where I go. Are you, so looking at these prices here, so we have 40,000, 50, 52,000, 70,000, 80,000, 85. Damn, are they serious? These can't be, or let's see, how many people are looking at this one for 88? 37 views in the last 37 days, 100, nah.
It's been on there for almost 200 days though, so yeah, no.
These guys are on crack cocaine. Okay, this one's not bad. Okay, 282 views, 13 saves, but it's been on almost a year. They're on crack. They're on crack. No one wants at these prices. They're interested, but not interested enough to actually take it off the market. 170 days. All right. So just from 600 views in the last 30 days. So that means people are interested. This is a commercial lot or something? I don't know. Anyways, what this tells me is that at least from the views, people are interested in this area. Maybe they also heard about Big Daddy Bill Gates getting land, and they at least got them interested and curious to see, okay, why is he buying land there? Now for you, what is your current investment budget?
It's not this.
It ain't, well, that's the thing. Like, if I see these prices, I'm not going to buy a lot for $40,000, at least not to sell for 40,000. I'm looking at this lot. Let's just assume that this person bought this lot for around 10,000 bucks. Let's assume this person bought this lot for around 15 to 20,000 bucks, around there, right? So basically a third, a quarter, sometimes half of the price that they're selling it for. So are you willing to invest around $10,000 to $15,000 for a lot currently, or you want to do something smaller?
I want to do something smaller since I'm just starting out.
Fair enough. And here's the thing. A lot of people feel the same way, and I totally advocate for that. But the funny thing is, it doesn't matter if your investment amount is big or small. It's the same rules, same game, same everything. It's just what areas that you're going to be attracted to versus which ones you're going to be repelled from. Let me see what the for sale by owners. That's the same shit. 78,000 for an acre. 140 views, 6 saves. Okay, this one might actually get a little bit more traction, but we'll see. These for sale by, or these other listings are usually for sale by owner. So other land investors, for the most part, not necessarily real estate agencies, may not be on the MLS, but like if we were to put a ad on Zillow, it will become on this tab. All right,
Oh, okay.
so don't want to do 10,000. What are we doing? 5,000, 2,000, 1,000?
5,000.
5,000. Okay, not bad, not bad. So that means if we're investing for 5,000, we're looking for properties that's retailing for about 20 to 25,000. That makes sense? Now, would you want to stay in Arizona or would you want to go? Well, let's try Tonopah.
I'm open.
All right. Get out of here. All right. So here we go. Tonopah. Like a lot of people invest in this area. Let me check Facebook real quick just to make sure we all good in the hood. Yeah, I think we're good. Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, parts of Texas and Florida, and sometimes North Carolina. Those are like the really big land investing states. So VJ was asking earlier, and I answered this question, like when everybody says choosing a hot market, choosing the market, go for the hot spots. Those states have a lot of hot spots. Now, yes, you will be competing against other people in this state. However, there are so many deals out there that it doesn't matter that you're competing. Sometimes you may have to raise your offer prices, or as I said, make your service better than the next guys to like kind of stand above the noise. But in general, even though you're competing with others and it makes it more difficult, there are still deals to be had. That makes sense? So looking at Tonopah, this actually fits better in your budget because this $10,000 lot probably was purchased for about $2,000, $2,500. This same thing here, same thing, 14,000, so probably $4,000, and so on and so forth. So these are all, even a $17,000 one, maybe up to 20 to 25, you can probably get for around 5,000. Like if you had to go to 6,000, would that be an issue, or would that be like, nope, 5,000 is a hard stop?
I could do 6.
Okay, just curious, but yeah. So this area, like from the eye test, seems to be okay. Now let's, how many listings do we have here? 515 agent listings. How many from other people? 25. So what does this tell me here? Well, let's see. This is price cut $3,000. How long has this been on the market? Or at least on Zillow. 195 days. So, but in the last 30 days, it has 655 views. It has 26 saves. People are interested at this price. Maybe they weren't interested before when it was at 12,000, but at 990 or 9,900, people are like, okay, this kind of works for me. All right, here we go here. Same thing. How many views? 253 views in the last 30 days, but it's been on the market for over a year. Only 4 saves. No one gives a shit about this property. Probably needs to be a lot lower than that, right? But what's my looking for? Because I'm not buying these lots. My goal, like I'm looking at this. Are people actually interested in these lots? The answer is yes. All right. So in my opinion, this is where you should at least start your search. Does that make sense? Now, the question is this. We can do a little bit more deeper analysis on other platforms or whatnot. Or are we good here? Yes or no?
I mean, are we good with Zillow?
Or yeah, well, just what we're seeing about Tonopah, Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the next step is now to you got 2 options. One, you can start to Zillow about the area to see like the pros and cons, things like that. I wouldn't look too hard into it because just because you know about an area doesn't mean someone's going to sell you their property there. But usually from this point, I go to build a list. That makes sense. Now, have you started to build a list using, like, do you still have like connections or tools from your real estate days?
You mean like network, people that I network with?
Perhaps, or people you network with who maybe have you give you access to MLS or things like that.
Oh,
or
I do have access to MLS through family, actually. So 2 of my cousins are actually realtors.
Okay, great. So you have access to that. What I would do, because you have access to something that most of us don't, start pulling up sale comps. We can kind of look here, right? And so instead of going from low to high, we'll go from newest to oldest. So we have property for an acre, 36,000. About roughly 20,000 sold on my wife's birthday, the day before, the day. So there's sales happening on Zillow. I don't know if these are pulled from MLS or on Zillow, but either way, we're getting sales dates, and we're getting actual like off or sale amounts. That making sense?
Mhm.
The reason why this is important, because now we want to start putting together actual prices per acre. Make sense?
Mhm.
The reason why we want to do this is because we're going to base our offer price based on these price per acre. So when we don't have access to this type of information or the MLS or anything else where you can see, hey, this property sold, it was this big in this subdivision, and it sold for this much, then we just use what is the current market rates going on. And then we can kind of take a look at, I don't want to do newest, go back to a lower high. Then we can kind of take a look at, okay, am I comfortable paying roughly this prices? How big are these lots? Things like that. But since we have that information, we can use that. Now, what I would do, I don't know, since you're like in finance, so you're probably really good with like Google, like Sheets or Excel, right?
Mhm.
Definitely take all the information that you can, get as many comps as possible, as easily as possible, get the price per acre and get like the average size. And if possible, kind of take a zoom in a bit and see where the concentrated land sales are. So on Zillow right now, we have this little like southeastern corner of Tonopah seems to be where everything is going on. I don't know, is this all desert? Buying some desert squares up in here. And what you can do as, I mean, not now, but later, look at not just these prices, but like, what subdivision is this? Why do we care about that? It's because, well, whatever tools and restrictions and things like that happen, and once, for one lot is not going to change between lots. So the research that you have is going to be much, much less. So far, so good.
Mhm.
But other than that, once we get the price per acre, we can now start making a list. So, okay, good. We're good on time. What I would do, at least for this, because you have two options. One, you can buy a list and you can use services like DataTree or PropStream, or since you're a realtor, maybe there's another like tool out there that you can kind of use, or you can do one for free by hand. And I always recommend doing it by hand for your first list, only your first list. Do you know why?
No.
I will tell you, because as to do it by hand, and I'll go through that now, you have to actually go through like the county's information, like the assessor site.
Oh, okay, like in the training that you sent. Okay.
Exactly. But the reason why is this is very important. You can write this down if you want. When you're doing smaller lots, it's just easier to kind of get to know the area by, finding a couple lots and through the CAD site or whatever. But then also when you start doing like higher dollar deals, like, I'm not talking about like, selling for 20, I'm like, you're selling for 100,000 and more. You got to be hyper specific and hyper focused, because the offer prices are going to be so much higher to those people. There's going to be less of like, it's going to be a much smaller buyer pool. And because of that, your offer's got to be tailored to that individual. Your offer has to be tailored to the end, like how you present your offer has to be tailored to the individual. And you don't want to just have blanket like, hey, I'm looking to buy land. Like, sure, that could work. But if you're trying to get these deals where you can have a bigger plot, acreage, you want to subdivide, you want something premium, you're going to have to bring your A game. And going through, and picking and choosing these things so you can research is a way to kind of get your A game like set up. That makes sense?
Mhm.
So let's put this here. All right. So what county is Tonopah? Maricopa County. All right. So you've seen this in a training.
Mhm.
So if I would have known what we were doing, I would have had this done, but it's all good. Have you had a chance to do this yourself?
Yeah, I looked at a couple of places.
Okay, got it. Were you able to start to find places on the GIS map?
No, not yet. I haven't gotten that far. I was just
Okay.
like looking.
So have you seen this website, or were you just looking at the
I was looking at the Netter, actually, not this one.
Got it. Okay. So I've never been to this website before. I'm not sure where all their stuff is. Customer portal. I'll leave. I'm gonna waste too much time looking for this. I'm doing exercise for you. But so far, are you clear on the area that you should start looking in?
I am.
All right. So what questions do you have for me?
The question that I have actually is mostly from the training.
Oh yeah,
Um,
fire away.
So it's like the title search. That wasn't super clear to me about like how you go about doing that, or is it
Absolutely.
more
So
detailed?
yeah, especially for these lower dollar lots, what I like to do, and I do it often when I self close, and to make sure that I'm not buying something that basically isn't sellable, I have to follow the chain of title. So you will go back to Netter Online. In fact, let me see if I can do like a demonstration for you. Let me grab something from Netter Online. But what you're going to do is when you go to Netter Online, you go to the recorder's office, right?
Okay.
And from there, you can actually look up the owner of a property. So I kind of do one real time. Let's see if I can. I don't have an example that I can do, but maybe I can kind of pull one out of my backside. Clerk. All right, cool. All I'm doing is going from who did that person buy the property from? Look their name up. Make sure that the transfer goes from person A to person B cleanly. Because it can't be like, hey, John Smith bought it, but then Jane Smith is the one that sold it. If that happened, you have to figure out why that happened and was that done properly? Especially if it was done on like a quit claim deed. A lot of times those quit claim deeds are useless and they just kind of mess things up. So if you see that, you got to be a little bit leery. But if it's on a regular deed or even a warranty deed, even better. Usually a warranty deed is issued by a title company, but it can be issued by anybody. It doesn't got to be a title company. But anyways, I go as far back. So then, I see John Smith owned it next or before that. Then I look up John Smith. Okay, who did he buy it from? He bought it from Steve Jobs, right? So I look up Steve Jobs information, right? And I just go further and further back. And I make sure every time the property was transferred, it was done cleanly, meaning there was no liens on it, meaning there was no confusion. Like if Steve Jobs died before you passed it on, did the county have proper like record to show, okay, now his heirs is the ones that were able to sell it on to the next person and so on and so forth. If I don't see that, then there's an issue. Not that it can't be solved, but that's how it goes. Now, I only do that when I self-close. When I'm buying property for, I don't know, 10, 15, $20,000, then I just let a title company handle it. Because a lot of times in that range, people will rather go through a title company anyways. So I'm like, yeah, what the hell? What's another, $1,500? But $1,500 when you're buying a property for $800 doesn't make any sense. Hence the self-closing. That makes sense?
Yeah.
All right, next question.
So the other question I had, so do you do like, or is there a way to find like off-market land? I know you use like Zillow a lot and then there's other website that you can use to look for land, but is there a way to find off-market?
Yeah, so Zillow just gives me an idea where I want to invest. I don't look for actual property on Zillow. So when I put a list together, again, I can use DataTree or PropStream or anything like that, where I can see all the landowners in an area, a county or a town, or, it depends on how you're filtering that data. I make sure I only look for vacant land. I make sure that the person owned the vacant land for a number of years. And ideally, if they owe back taxes, that's another one, because, that just shows another indicator like they don't want the property. And then from there, I have a list of names. Hopefully the list is a couple hundred to a couple thousand names. Then I start to contact them. Now, if they have property on the market, I don't talk to them because they want retail price. I'm talking to people off market so I can get it for that quarter of the retail price. So does that like kind of answer your question?
It does. Yeah.
Okay, great. What's next?
That was it.
That was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good because we're running out of time.
Your training was pretty thorough, so yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it's like if y'all haven't been watching it, I don't know what y'all sleeping on it. I put a lot of stuff into that. All right, so now this is where the coaching comes in. When do you think you can put a list together of people in Tonopah, Arizona? Now, just because you put a list together, don't mean it's going to be a perfect list or you're going to, get a bunch of deals, but I will still like to see a list. When do you think you can get that done?
I can get it back done to you by Friday. This
Today's
Friday.
Wednesday. All
Today's
right.
Wednesday.
All right. So what's your plan? To buy the list using, again, PropStream data?
No, I think I'm gonna try to do it myself.
Do it by hand. Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Now you're going to have to navigate that the appraisal site for Maricopa County in Arizona. There will be a place where you can search everybody's record, you know, just like, hey, John Smith, and then see, oh, okay, this is where their property is located. And they'll probably have some kind of GIS website so you can actually see it on the satellite
Mhm.
map and all that.
Mhm.
But the training explains how to do that.
Mhm.
So you should be be good.
Yeah.
If you need help finding that, you know, that county's like version of that, let me know. But so what's the punishment going to be if you don't get this done by Friday?
What's the punishment it's gonna be?
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
won't be any punishment. It's getting done.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say what? Got it. All right. So everybody, you guys heard it here first. So if Carrie Ann does not get this done by Friday, because I don't care if a meteor falls and destroys her house, I don't care. I don't care if a sinkhole opens up and she gets swallowed to the center of the earth. I want this list by Friday. So you guys are all listening. We get to hold her accountable to make sure she gets this done. All right. Now, just to give you next steps, after you get that done, we're going to figure out how do we want to contact the people on this list. We can
Okay.
text them or we can mail them, depending on your time and your budget. That will kind of dictate what comes next. Make sense?
Mhm.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I think we are good here. I probably shared a little too much of all these deals I had in one county. Everybody's going to see that and they're going to flood my county. I'll make sure I cut that part of the video out. But yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah,
Hopefully you
thank
got some
you.
clarity. And
Yeah, I
everything
did. This was really helpful.
wonderful, wonderful. And I think if you get a list together, we probably should looking into you joining the coaching program. You actually seem like you're ready to get stuff like started for real, for real. So
Mhm.
as you're doing this, consider that, especially when you're going through stuff and things don't make as much sense. You might need an extra nudge or some
Mhm.
encouragement or even funding. That's what the group is all about. So that's
Okay.
for anybody else. So
Awesome.
I appreciate you volunteering
you.
and coming on and helping me put this together. So if you have any help or anybody else that needs any help, hit me up. I'll be glad to lend my expertise. But until next time, I will talk to you guys later.
All right. Thank you.